Hi BookTube, it's Gina, and I'm here today to wrap up my August and share with you what I read. And I thought I'd also talk to you about how I read it. So did I have it on my Kindle? Was it a library Kindle? Was it a paper book? I, as you know, love the actual paper book. I love my Kindle, and it's really interesting to me how I read. So I thought I would also start including that in my wrap up. So for August, I read 7 books. I've actually got some notes here on my little handy dandy new, it's sort of an imitation traveler's notebook. I love the size of this. I've got a couple of little notebooks in it, and I'm finding it's actually doing a really good job for me to use to take notes and to sort of record ideas. So we'll see how this works. I have a tendency also to be one of those people that buys 8,000 notebooks and calendars and things and then ends up not ending up using them. So we'll see. But so far I'm really liking this. So for August, the first 2 books that I read were for Book Trek 2021, and this has so far been a delightful experience. I'm reading Star Trek books with Vin from Revenant Reads, Michael K. Vaughan, Steve Donahue, and Mark Richardson. And this month we're reading the Next Generation books. Last month it was the original series books. And so for that, I read World Without End by Joe Haldeman. This was a recent purchase. I've been hitting the used bookstores looking for Star Trek books because I've never read them before and I never owned any. So this was a recent used book purchase. And of course I read this on a paper. The second book that I read for Book Trek 2021 was Strangers from the Sky by Margaret Bonanno. And this one I bought on my Kindle. So that was a purchase. And that was another Star Trek book, which I loved. Both of these I really enjoyed reading. It was a very fun experience reading the original series books. I've got a whole bunch more, so I'm going to continue reading, but right now I'm moving on to the Next Generation. So 2 of those books were for Book Trek 2021. The next book that I read was a middle grade to possibly a smidge younger, which is Miss Pickering and the Geiger Counter by Ellan MacGregor. And this one I bought at the used bookstore. I bought another one that I showed in my haul. But isn't that cute? So of course I read this one on this copy as well. Let's see, the next book that I read was An Irish Country Doctor by Patrick Taylor. This I also bought used, so you're seeing a theme here. I do like to buy a lot of used books, and I read this one on this paper copy. And then I also read this Agatha Christie by the Pricking of My Thumbs, which was a Tommy and Tuppence book. I actually don't think I've read any Tommy and Tuppence before. So this was a lot of fun, a quick read, and isn't that a beautiful cover? This was another used purchase that I bought all 4 of these this month. So these are all new used purchases. And then I also checked out an ebook at the library, the Vanderbeekers Lost and Found by Karina, Yann, Glaser. And I love the Vanderbeekers. It is a middle grade series with a family, and they live in Harlem, and the kids run around and have adventures. And Lost and Found was a very sweet story about one of their friends, one of the Vanderbeekers' friends, who becomes homeless and is they're trying to struggle to figure out what they can do to support their friend. And it's a really fun story. There's also another one of these coming out. It actually, I think it just came out. The Vanderbeekers, Make-A-Wish. I wrote that down. Make-A-Wish. And so I'm gonna try and get that one on my library. It's not available on my library yet, so I'll have to try and either wait for that one. I might buy it on my Kindle too. This is another thing. I do like to buy books new to support the author if it's a series that I like. So I may end up buying that one on my Kindle. And then lastly, I read China Court by Rumer, Godden. And this one I purchased on my Kindle also. So I own that on my Kindle. And this one was a comfort book club read with Miranda Mills, who's got a wonderful YouTube channel that I just love. And she's just started this comfort read book club. And so I read China Court with the Comfort Read Book Club. And China Court, I really ended up loving. I struggled with it a little bit in the beginning because it moves around from present tense to past tense. And it's really interesting. Generally, I don't like books that are told in the present tense, but the whole point of this, China Court is a house, an English sort of manor, and the whole premise is that it talks about generations that have lived in the house, but it sort of brings them all into the story and interweaves them all at the same time. And what it took me a while to figure out is that the generations in the past are actually told in the present tense, and then the current thread of the current generation is told in the past tense. And once I figured that out, it clicked. And the writing in this was beautiful, and it was a really nice story. So I really ended up enjoying that, but it was a little awkward for me to settle into at first. So if you decide to read China Court, that is something to kind of keep in mind. If you struggle with present tense, especially, that it did end up coming together really well and not bothering me at all once I realized what she was doing. I must not be that smart, because it took me about 75 pages to figure it out. And when it clicked, of course, it was wonderful. So that is my list for August. I enjoyed my August reading month. So I read 4 paper books. I read 3 Kindles. 2 of the Kindles I purchased, and 1 of them I checked out at my library. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.